Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here. It is 4 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. All right, I want to let you guys in on something. This is the fourth time I started this video. I have gotten off topic every time I started this video, so let's try it again. First thing, hey, we had an earthquake yesterday here in Connecticut. It does happen here. I've actually been in 3 earthquakes. I've been in one in California, one in Maine, and a couple here in Connecticut. But anyway, yeah, there was an earthquake not far from here in Massachusetts, 3.8, almost a 4.0 earthquake. Cool. All right, I want to talk about Joe Biden and his jog, his little jog. I think most of you guys have seen it. When he comes out to talk to the press, to the microphone, he does the hustle, man. He hustles out there. And, hey, I'm a guy, I'm going to be 55 in January, and exercise and everything saved my life with recovery and all that. And I think it's great. I like to see a little hustle. I do. And when I first saw Joe Biden do this, I knew exactly kind of why he was doing it, because of his age. He wanted to prove that he was still spry. Come on, let's face it. Does anybody really run unless they're being chased? Or, unless something's chasing them, or, nobody really runs. But it's good to show a little hustle, man. It shows the right attitude. And, I knew why he was doing it when I first saw it, but I still like it. Here's the thing that I wanted to talk about. Every single Trump supporter I've talked to in the last month hates it. It really irks them. They just despise how I seem to be irked, and how I just seethe when I see Trump do his wiggle. It's the same thing with the Trump supporters. They just do not like it. They take severe offense at Joe Biden's hustle to the microphone. So keep it up, Joe. A little hustle is good. All right. Next thing I want to talk about now, a little more seriously, Donald Trump. I've talked about in another video before. I talked about throughout my life, I've been fairly lucky not having narcissists in my life. So Donald Trump, these last 4 years have kind of been a learning experience for me. Like I said, I've been kind of lucky. I had to kind of learn what narcissism is, really, over the last 4 or 5 years. I really didn't have a lot of experience with it. Or maybe there were narcissists in my life, but I just didn't really know a lot about it. Now, after 4 years of Donald Trump, I understand narcissism, or narcissists. And here's the whole thing. Okay, so he's talking about having more rallies. And I think we all knew he was going to do this, regardless if he won or he lost or whatever, that there was going to be more rallies. Like I talked about in another video. Now, I truly believe this with all my heart. Like when he went into the hospital for COVID, I talked about this in one of my videos. I can't remember the name of the video, but I talked about this quite a few times, that this is a drug to him, seriously, coming from a drug addict. And I mean that in literally. It provides a stimulation to part of his brain. It gives him that reward. Being in front of that crowd is literally a drug that gives him, that hits the pleasure centers in his brain. That adoring crowd. And I think if I'm right, and he is addicted to this, he has withdrawals. When he was in the hospital with COVID-19, I remember saying that he's going to be going to withdrawals, because for the last 4 years he's no other president in history has ever had rallies right after they won through the whole 4 years. And he's not going to stop now. He's hardcore addicted to these rallies, and now it's coming out that he's going to have more. He's going to have more rallies coming up, basically to protest. He's still not conceding and still insisting that he won the election, even though there's almost 5 million more people that voted for for Joe Biden that say otherwise, that he did not win the election. So he's going to continue to have these rallies. Now I kid around about this kind of, about him being addicted to these rallies, but I started to think, what's he going to say? And he's going to feed it. I imagine it's going to feed into the whole conspiracy theory thing that it's just going to be more tearing apart the country. And I started to think about, okay, let's just assume that he has a valid argument, that he thinks that the election was unfair or fraudulent or whatever. So how do you handle that? Being a mature being a mature adult, how would you handle something like that? The right thing to do would be to go to court. So going in front of people or going on in a series of rallies, why would you do that? How would that help your case? To me, honestly, I don't think it would. If you're running for president of the entire United States, what you're doing there by going to these people can't help you. They've already voted. And the only thing that can help you is presenting your case, presenting the evidence in a court of law to overturn it. That's a valid path to take. All the while, I imagine the right thing to do, especially if you're running for the office of president of the United States, would be to at least appear presidential. And holding these rallies is the only result of that will be to further fracture and tear apart this country. Pretty much the opposite of what the office of president should be about. I know none of this matters to Trump supporters whatsoever. Not a word I said even matters. Going to the people and doing these rallies is just going to inflame his supporters further, to take action, to be violent, to do whatever. There's nothing really legally they can do. I think private organizations have already filed lawsuits and they've been struck down already as far as the fraudulent election stuff. The only thing that these rallies are going to do is feed his ego, feed his addiction of being adored, his narcissistic addiction. Another thing I want to talk about too that I've read several times, reading up on narcissists and narcissistic tendencies, is that losing is inconceivable, is unacceptable and inconceivable to a narcissist. To them, and I've seen this phrase a couple times, to them it is psychic death, a mental death. To them, it's worse than death. They cannot. And then too, you think about how Trump talks about losers and suckers. So the only way, that's part of his whole outlook. So he can't accept, I don't believe he's ever going to accept it. And that's just going to create further division in this country. It's going to be something that Joe Biden's going to have to work around or work through. And I think he's doing an excellent job already. I could not be happier that Joe Biden is already working towards the COVID-19 virus, or already getting moving on the COVID-19 situation. For the last 3 days in a row, we've gone over 100,000 new cases for the last 3 days in a row. It is out of control at this point. And like I talked in the other videos, the media isn't really giving much attention because of all the hubbub about the election. And the next time we turn back to look at this explosion of COVID-19, it's going to be so much worse. We can't take our eye off this, I guess is what I'm saying. The way it's growing and exploding across this country. I saw too that the Utah governor, I believe, wants to mandate masks across his state. And that was something good to hear. I'm assuming Utah is probably a Republican governor. I don't know for sure, but it's good to see that people are getting on board and not complaining about their freedoms and doing what they need to do to mitigate this and get back to where we all want to be. All right. I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good Monday.